Hi, kindergarten. So yesterday we reviewed narratives and that they have characters, they have a problem solution, a beginning, middle, end, and they have a location or a setting. So we started working with words that tell order in our story. And we said that those kinds of words were called sequence words. And we are going to be using sequence words in our narrative today. So yesterday I had you think about what you do in your school day. The first three things that you do in your school day: first, next, and last. And so we drew a picture. Maybe your picture looks like mine. Maybe your picture is a little different because maybe you do your school day in a different order, and that's okay. But I have first was my morning meeting, and then next is my small groups, and then last is our Lincoln Learning online activities. And so that's kind of where we stopped. So today we are going to pick up and we're going to write what we drew yesterday using our sequential words, either first, next, last. Okay, that's what I'm going to use. You could also say first, then last, or first, then finally. So there's a couple words that you could choose from. But we are going to, first of all, used a sequence word there. We're going to talk about what we're going to write. So we're going to write 3 sentences. First, I do this, then or next, I do that, and then finally or last, I do this. Okay? So we're not going to write the word this and that. We're going to fill in those words with some better words, some details. I am going to use a marker when I write. You are going to use a pencil. Remember, I use a marker so that you can see it better. I want you to use a pencil because it's better to erase with, and it's just better for kindergartners to write using a pencil when we're writing in our journal. So your picture can be done in marker or crayon or whatever you choose, but our actual sorry, my markers just fell. Our actual writing needs to be done with pencil, okay? So I'm going to bring you closer to me so you can see, and we're going to write. Now, I want you writing with me today, all right? So you have your pencil and you have your spacer. Do you have your materials? If you need to go get them, pause the video, go get them, and come back. All right, friends, we should have everything that we need, our spacer, and you have your pencil. I have my spacer and I have my marker, okay? So the first thing we do is always the same. We pick up our pencil and we write our name. So I'm going to write my name. You go ahead and write your name. Remember to put a capital letter at the beginning. There you go. If you need more time, just press pause, but I will wait just a second for everyone to catch up. Okay. All right, the second thing we're going to do now is we're going to write the date. And we haven't really done this together a lot, but we're going to do it today. So this is December 7th, and December is the last month of the year. So that means we are in month 12. So we're going to write a 1 and a 2 for 12. And then we're going to do a dash or slash. We're going to write 7. And then we're going to write 20 for the year 2020. 12, 7, 20. 12-7-20. I'm going to see if I can bring you even closer to my journal. That's a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to say the first thing I do in school is I go to morning meeting, or I First, I go to, let's do it this way. First, I go to morning meeting. That way we're not writing quite so much. I think I just gave you a really long sentence. So we're going to say first. Now, friends, we're going to write a capital F. And I know how to spell first because it's on my chart right here. So I'm going to use my chart to help me write the word first. So I see that it's F, and then I see an I, and then I see an R, and an S, and a T. Okay? So because we have it in our chart, we know how to spell it. Now, you're going to write a sentence with what you do first. Maybe you don't do morning meeting first. Maybe you do a lesson online first. Maybe you do morning meeting first. Whatever you do first in your school day, that's going to be your sentence. So if your sentence is different, if you don't do morning meeting, you might want to just pause the video and just or fast forward the video and write your own sentence. But if your first thing is morning meeting, stick with me and we're going to write it together. So we're going to put our space stick after first. Now we need to mention who's in our story. I'm in my story and you're in your story, right? So first, I. So we know we're going to write a capital letter I. And I'm making sure that I'm touching the skyline and the grass line for my capital letters. First, I go. That's a rainbow word. G-O. Space. To. That's another rainbow word. T-O. Now I'm going to stop us for a second. Look at your words go and to. Look at where they are on the line. Are they touching the plane line? Except for letter T goes up to the skyline, okay? But all of our letters need to make sure that they are lowercase letters. First, I go to morning meeting. That's M. Let's stretch this word together. Or. I hear an R. There's another sound in there that we don't quite know yet, but that's okay. I hear that R, right? Morn. N. Good job. Ing. Ing. Some of you know that ing is I-N-G. If you don't know that, that's okay. That's what we're all here for. So we can just tell you that it's I-N-G. So I go to morning, space stick, meeting. I hear another M. E. I hear an E. T, t, t. Yep. T. Oh, there's that ing sound again. Who remembers what we just said? What 3 letters makes the ing sound? Good. I-N-G. The king, we call that the king of ing. Some of us have learned that. Some of us have not. First, I go to morning meeting. We're all done. We're going to put a period there. And then we can kind of come over here and do check. Okay. First, I go to morning meeting. Now, for my middle, I can either say next or I can say then. It wouldn't really make much sense to use the word but for this, so I'm going to stick with next or then. I'm going to let you decide which word you want to use. You don't have to use the word I use. You can use either next or then. I'm going to use the word then, but if you want to use next, go for it, okay? So I'm going to use my space stick, and I'm going to write then. So I'm going to write a capital T, and I'm going to make sure that I go from the skyline to the grass line. If you're doing next, you're going to write a capital letter N. And again, you're going to make sure to go from the skyline to the grass line. I'm writing then, so I'm going to write a T, an E, and an N. If you're writing next, you're going to write that N, which you just did, and an E, an X, and a T. All right, so we either have our then or we have our next. Then, right? Now, instead of saying go to, we maybe want to change it up a bit. Maybe we can say, then I have my small group. All right, so why don't we put our space stick after H, or after I, I'm sorry, and I'm thinking a little bit ahead, and we're going to write an H for have. Now let's stretch the sounds we hear in have. Ah, I hear an A. I hear a V. Then I have small group. That is an S. That is an M. Oh, there's an A in there, and then a O at the end. Small. Very good. And then we're going to do a space. We're going to stretch the sounds in group. G, G, G. G, good. R, R. Ooh, we don't know ooh yet, but guess what? I'm going to tell you that ooh is O-U for this sound. Okay, so we can go ahead. Sometimes it's okay if grown-ups tell you sounds you don't know. Group, P. Period, because we're done. All right, so I did my middle. I used then, or maybe you used next. All right, now we're ready for our end. So we can say last, or we could say finally. I don't know that it's going to make much sense right now to use the words to end. You could say to end my day, I do Lincoln Learning. You could say that if you wanted to. I think I'm going to do finally. I like that one. But if you like last, you go ahead and write last. Okay, it's your story. You get to pick what you want to do. So I'm going to do finally. I don't think I have enough room right here to write finally. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write it down on this last line. All right. So I'm going to start with a capital F. Because remember, friends, I can take it right off of the chart. I can use my resources. I can use the things around me to help me with things I don't know. So finally, I have an I have an N, I have an A, I have an L, another L, and a Y. If you wrote last, you're going to start with a capital L, a lowercase a, an S, and a T. All right. I think I'm going to say finally, I do Lincoln Learning. Okay, so I'm going to put my space stick right here. Finally, okay, I'm going to do a space stick. Do, this is a rainbow word, D-O. Now, space, Lincoln Learning. You might be able to find really close by a workbook. Actually, this is a teacher book, but you could find a workbook and look right there. It tells us how to spell Lincoln Learning, okay? So sometimes, friends, you might have things around you that can help you with words you don't know, and that is totally okay to do that to help you. That's what I call using your resources. So I looked on my student workbook and I saw that Lincoln was spelled like that. So I copied it down. It's a capital letter because it's the name of a company. So we would write capital L, lowercase I, lowercase n, lowercase c, lowercase o, lowercase l, and lowercase n. And now, friends, I am out of room. Maybe you are too, or you're getting close to it. I'm going to turn the page. Now, do you see how my marker went through That's another reason why I don't want kindergartners using markers, because it bleeds through our pages. I use it just because I want you guys to be able to see from the screen. Okay, learning. We're going to do another capital L because it's still their name. And then we're going to do a lowercase e, lowercase a, lowercase r, lowercase n, ing. Who remembers ing? The king of ing. I, N, G. All right, I'm going to go back here because I kind of forget what we wrote. So I'm going to go back and check. Finally, I do Lincoln learning. Do you think we're done? All right, so let's put a period there. All right, friends. Let's go back and take a look at what we've written. Oh, we need to do our ending, okay? Gonna check. All right, here we go. First, I go to morning meeting. Then I have small group. Finally, I do Lincoln learning. All right, did we have a beginning, a middle, and an end? We did. All right, friends. So today we used sequence words in our writing. And we wrote about the three of the things we do in our school day. All right, we are all done for today. Tomorrow we're going to keep going with something new that we're going to add to our narrative. All right? All right, thanks for writing with me today. I will see you soon.